welcome to this week's tutorial Thursday. I am here today to share with you a tutorial for a card. So let's just get straight on with it, shall we? Going down onto my table, this is actually the card we're going to make today. How utterly gorgeous is that? I'm in love with this card, and I have to say that I do normally focus on cards for beginners, but I wouldn't necessarily say that this is a card for a beginner. It's not hard, it's very easy when you know how, but there are a lot of bits and bobs involved in this, and I don't for one moment want you to think that you have to spend, I mean you can, don't get me wrong, I don't want you to have to think that you have to spend like £500 on all the supplies to make this card, but we'll go through that as we go along. But how gorgeous, 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 gorgeous is that? So you might be sitting there thinking, well, what is this paper here? I'm not very familiar with it. Well, let me bring in the pack of paper. It's called Simply Marbellous, and if I bring out most of it, it is various colours in various marble. Can I get it all on there? Marble pattern. So every single one is the same pattern. It's like that on one side, and then look at that. I mean, that's more fabric, like silk. Oh, I don't know. It's just gorgeous, 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 gorgeous. But I love marble anyway. It's the background that I take all my card photos on. So you have this kind of bright blue, the grey. I've used a lot of the grey already. The aqua, the purple, the kind of yellowy orange, and then the pink. And so I've used the grey and the pink today, but that, you cannot buy that paper before you sit there and go, no, I want that paper. You can actually earn it for free. So celebration is currently on until the end of February, and you will find in here, she says, if she can find it, there it is, there we go, it's free. That's why you can't buy it, because it's free. So as you saw, it was 6x6 paper, and you get 48 sheets in there, 8 each of 6 double-sided designs. And you can see some of the things that they've done with it there. They've put a strip along the bottom of the cards there. Have they used any more? Oh yes, there you go. Look how cute this otters are. The otters, I'm actually going to be sharing an otter card next week with you. But very cute, very cute. And so as you can see, give you a close-up again. I've got some grey in the background here and some of that pink there. So I've gone for Smoky Slate and Blushing Bride as my kind of coordinating colours. But I've also got a lot of new catalogue product on here as well. So first and foremost, let me show you this. So this is the new, what's it called? January to June mini catalogue. And I love this. I love, 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 love this. We had a Willy Boot stamp set previously and it retired, and I was very sad, so I'm very pleased to see this. So you've got the boots that you can stamp separately, to flower stems which look like tulips but could be kind of daisies or gerberas as well, and you've got this watering can, a pot, what's it called? It's a pot, it's a plant pot. You've got these things that you could stick on the front of the watering can as well, and a couple of sentiments as well, a bit of script and a bit of clear. So I love those. Love, 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 love this. So what I've also used though, so let me bring in some other things. So here is the stamp set. You can see it there. But there is, she says, the coordinating dies. So they cut out some of the images, obviously the watering can and the stems, but you've got a couple of extra bits there as well. So a little rectangle which cuts that out, but could be used for anything, a small tag or anything. And you've got this kind of trellis design as well, which you can use, and this fork which you could cut out and put beside your Willy Boots or watering can. So they're the dies in the rain boot set. Now don't forget that if you've fallen in love with this as well, you can buy the stamp set and the dies independently. So if you just wanted the stamp set, you can do that. If you just wanted the dies, you could do that. But when you buy them together, you get a 10% saving on your order. So why not? Why not? Treat yourself. You know you want to. Now there are 3 other sets of dies that I used in this. Well, no, 2 other actually. This is one of my favourite sets. You know this has been in the main catalogue. Scallop contours, these borders. So this is what this white piece is here. I use it an awful lot. This white piece with you can see a stitch detail or dotted detail around the edge. So I love them, and actually each scallop has a different pattern. So that's got dots, but something else has got dashes or circles or lines, things like that. It is actually a set that there is a stamp set that goes with this that cuts out flowers as well. But you know what? I use it a lot for this, and you've got a scalloped edge die in there as well. So that's where the scalloped rectangle comes from. And I've just got a heart here. Now there are various hearts in various die sets, punch sets, so you might have, it doesn't matter if it's smaller or maybe even slightly larger. If you've got a heart punch or something like that, you can use it. But I did want to point out that we've got hearts in the Sweetheart die set. That's in the new January to June catalogue. But I actually used this one here, which is a stitched heart, which is in the Bouquet of Love. And this is actually a hybrid set, so it's got a coordinating embossing folder with it as well. But I just used that as a die cut, that one there. I mean, you've got labels and all sorts in there as well, but that's what I've used. So it is quite a lot. As I say, this is a £500 card. It's still not £500, but you get my drift. I don't need to think that. So obviously you don't. It could be without the heart. You wouldn't necessarily need that. If you had, if you didn't have a scallop border or anything like that, you could just have a rectangle. That could be a white rectangle, and it would be fine. These are obviously circles. Now, if you own circle punches or some circle dies, I've just realised I've used another set. What have I used? It's another set in the mini catalogue. Hold on. Because Stampin' Up actually retired all its circle dies and, apart from layering circles, but all its circle punches. And I just want to show you what I used. It's in beautiful shapes. So hold on, page 50. Let me show you. Here it is. So these are actually the circles I did use in the dies that you can't see. Hold on, page 80. I think there's a bigger picture. Yes, there we go. So lots of really useful basic shapes there. Oh, hang on, it's come down. So there's some circles there for you, as well as some hexagons and ovals and things. But that is what I actually use. So I haven't got that one here with me. So yeah, lots. But if you've got circle punches, again, if you haven't got circle punches, this could just be cut out in a rectangle and have a Pear Pizzazz rectangle cut behind it. So then you would literally just need the stamps. You could cut them out by hand if you wanted to, but if you get the dies, obviously you get your 10% off. It's much easier. It makes the job much easier. But I didn't want you to sit there and think, oh my God, I need 17 sets of dies and 50 ink pads just to make this. You absolutely don't. But let's put that to one side for a minute. I've got all my bits here. Now, first of all, I am going to do a bit of stamping. So, she says, probably should have got these out beforehand if I was being really organised. So this is a photopolymer stamp set. I'm going to bring out, is that big enough for my... Yes, my willies will fit on there. I say you could do the daisies. What have I done? I've done tulips. I do like a tulip, and we're heading towards tulip weather. So they should be out soon, I hope. Is that going to fit on there? No. Another large one there. And I need the stems as well. It should go on there. Now, because I'm die cutting these out, I'm not too worried about how they go on. I should just pick a bigger one, but that'll do the job. And then I've got Live Life in Full Bloom. Now, I could use larger acrylic blocks for this, but I've said before, you should always try and keep it as close to you can. I mean, that's probably pushing it a little bit because I've had to do it at a wonk. But, yeah, always, so I could, I mean, I have... Look, acrylic blocks that are that size, and you might just sit there and think, well, they all fit on there. Why don't you just use that? Just purely because, especially if I don't do it right in the middle, it's just rocking about, look, like anything. And even if I put it in the middle, it's quite cumbersome and really easy to rock. Whereas if I've got it on something this size, it's much easier to handle. It's not as heavy, not as awkward, and I mean, it's much sturdier. Look. I really have to do that to make it wobble. But if you've got a big stamp, they're great. Right, let's get on with this, shall we? So I have Pear Pizzazz for my stems. So I'm just going to, because I'm either cutting these out by hand or I'm die cutting them, they're not going immediately on the piece of work. then it doesn't matter where it goes, any scrap will do. And look how intricate that is. If I put it in the camera it would help, wouldn't it? There you go, look. Just beautiful, beautiful, beautiful. So that's in Pear Pizzazz because that matches that layer and that layer. My Blushing Bride, which has lost a lot of its colour on the label, but not on the actual ink pad. I mean, how gorgeous are these? You could go bright red or anything like that, but obviously I wanted to go with the colours of the paper. So that's my Blushing Bride. And another piece in for my welly boots, which I've done in Smoky Slate. Now there is a blog post that goes along with this tutorial. You'll see the link somewhere in the description depending on where you're watching. And if you click on that link and go to my blog post, there is actually a free tutorial sheet that you can download. It's got all the measurements of all the bits on there, including all the products that I've used on that sheet as well. So if you go onto that blog post, download it, it's free. You don't need to give your email address or anything. Just download that and you're good to go. And then you've got everything to hand that you need there. But that's over on my blog. Look at those. Love it, love it. So I would then get my dies, run them through my die cutting machine. Oh, she says, whoop. So I've got those go around there. That goes round there. And they go round there. So you've got a die that cuts all of those out. Now we don't have a magnetic plate for our die cutting machine at the moment, so I tend to just use a really, what is it? It's called invisible tape or something like that, where it's or low tack tape, something like that. It's not going to rip your card when you put it down. And to be fair, I kind of put it on my trousers a little bit and rip it off to make it even less sticky because it's literally just to hold it in place. Let's just steal another bit. So I put those, making sure that I'm happy, and when I'm happy, stick that down, and then run them through. Didn't stick that one down very well, did I? Run that through my embossing machine. Now I do have my baby one just here actually. So if you are new and you don't know what a die cutting machine is, this is a small one, it's a mini version. We do exactly the same in a big version, but all these would work, and you literally, it's going to fit now. Does that fit on there? I wasn't going to do this because I've got one I made earlier, but just literally put it between the two plates, do the hand, and it just squashes it basically, which means that the blade that isn't sharp to your fingers, let's get rid of that. Ooh. Look, cuts through, and as I say, you can absolutely cut it out by hand. But I'm not going to. Why would you when this makes it easier? Once you've got a machine, you've pretty much got the machine for life. And then you've got coordinating dies and you're good to go. So they are all the dies, but let's move everything out the way now. Because as I say, here's one I made earlier. So I have, let's move the space. I'm getting smaller and smaller here. So what have I got here? I have got a piece of Pear Pizzazz paper. As I say, those dimensions are on that PDF download. If you go to my website and go to the blog post that is in the description, you can download those and say all the products that I've used are on there as well. So I'm just putting that on there. I've got a bit of wiggle room with that wet glue, so I can make sure I'm happy with my even borders. That goes straight onto my Blushing Bride card base. Ooh. There we go. Now at this stage, make sure your card is where you want it to be and it's opening up the right way, so you don't make a card for someone in Australia or someone who's left-handed because you do it the wrong way. This stage, it doesn't matter, you can't go wrong, but you can once you start putting all these bits together. So this is a piece of that pink Simply Marbellous paper, that free celebration item. I mean, you just need that before it goes, don't you? Just gorgeous. There we go. And again, measurement for that on that PDF. Now that is actually added to my card with dimensions. Now just remember, as you start adding dimension to your card, you start making your card thicker, it will start costing you more to post. And I think that applies to pretty much everywhere in the world these days. So depending on where you're watching from. So these are just bits of foam, double-sided foam basically. So it's sticky one side on the white card, and then I'm taking off paper to reveal the stickiness so that it will stick in place. Now this is where I really want to make sure, because once I've committed mostly, but I think I'm happy there. And when I'm happy, I'm just going to lay it down. I'm going to move my hands without pushing down, just make sure I am happy, because you can still lift it at this stage. When I'm happy, I'm going to put that down like that. So I've got my tulips, I've got my stems, I've got my welly boots, and I've got my my card heart. So what have we got? Now I'm going to add a little bit of glue to the top of the back of my welly boots, because these stems, now again, I'm going to use my card as my gauge because I don't want it poking out the top too much. So if I was to put my kind of welly boots there, then I would want my plants, because again, I've got to get those on there. I've done a better job at the new ones, because they're going to go on there. So I'm happy with it there. So if I just do that, get rid of those, then you can see where it's stuck, and I can stick that happily. Then I'm going to use dimensionals again. We're raising these up. Do. Obviously, if you're using your own dimensionals, use 20, because then you run out and need more. No, you don't need that many. That is kind of the point. It's whether you tip it at an angle. Oh, I need to, might go a little bit at an angle. There we go. Because this is going to stick to, so I'm just putting a little bit of glue. I could put the glue on the ends of the tips there if I wanted to, but I'm thinking as it's raised, I can do that. Now they do line up, as in, that's it. A stem goes to each flower. So if I do that, there we go. That's it. Actually, you can tell by that one, because that long one goes up there. That's it. Lovely. Okay. Then my heart is on yet another dimensional. Again, if you've got a little punch or something like that, you can change that. And again, I might change this. Now I've gone a bit on the wonk. I might move it a little bit. I might go, oh, decisions. I might get my tweezers out so my fingers aren't in the way. There we go, so I can move it around a little bit more. What do I think about there? Just pretty much where I had it before. Okay, so I've got my circles, I've got my sentiment, smoky slate. Oh, I can't see. Got the reflection. That'll do. I think I've got most of it on it. Don't have to worry about it being straight because it's a circle. So you can move it around if it's not straight. Okay, I'm going to put some dimensionals on that just while I leave that to dry for a second. It does dry really quickly. They're water-based ink pads, so again, I can put that on there. And then that's actually flat on this case. Now last week you may have used me use those brass butterflies. If you didn't, go back and check it out. It was a beautiful card. So I could put those on there, but actually I've gone, oh, I've just realised I've not got those out. Hold on. I have gone for iridescent rhinestone basic jewels. Look at those. How lush are they? So I have gone 3, and they are kind of large, medium and small. I've gone small in this case. I put one kind of there, one kind of there, and one on my heart to highlight that. And you could put more on if you wanted to, but that is good for me. So slightly more on the wonk, depending on how high your flowers are. They're much lower there, actually, I've just realised. But that's it. That's why you kind of use what you've got as your guide to do that. I don't think one is better than the other or anything like that. So That's going to dry a little bit, that blushing bride, so it comes out like that. But there we go, that is this week's card using the Flowering Rain Boots and Rain Boots dies and various other dies as well. But there we go. Thanks for joining me. As I say, go and grab that free PDF on the website. Any questions, you know where I am. Otherwise, I'll be back with you next Tuesday for another top tip. Then my 1-minute quick videos on card making tips. And I'll be back next Thursday with another tutorial Thursday. Thanks very much for joining me. Bye.